Hey guys, it's Matty. It's Broken Supercoach checking in. Round 19 has wrapped up. Reasonable score, 23.99. Just put us up another 100. Um, obviously we'd put some pretty immense scores out the last few weeks, so back around to what the par score probably was. So we're at 11.99. So we're really trying to crack that top 1K at the moment. Would love to do that. But here, compared to where we were earlier in the year, 11.99 is beautiful. We've come 30,000 ranks basically in 10 rounds. Still 3 trades. So yes, I didn't trade Cameron to Goldstein. And at the end of the day, lost no points doing that. The real reason I didn't do it was with the Hewitt out. And I thought about it. I can't go down to 2 trades if Hewitt is out. So what that means is now I'm stuck with Cameron for the rest of the year. And hopefully he can just put out some reasonable scores. We've only got 20, 21, 22, 23. So still 4 rounds to go. So 3 trades, 4 rounds. We really want to be looking after those trades with very little money in the bank. So let's have a look. So yeah, I would like to be able to trade Cameron. Grundy expect to come back this week. Was available last week. So unless they're really holding him, but at 488, we don't have any option there in the rucks anymore with no real option to come in. We'll have a look through though. So let's go through the lines. It was actually a very down week. If not for a really good captain score, a lot of the big names just did nothing. Some scored really big. So it was a very odd week for Supercoach this week. We had Sinclair score 117 against the Eagles. They're 3 points. So and as we saw, Captain Steele, which you've got to do that. If you've got a premium playing West Coast, you just have to slap a C on him, which I did. Luckily, my VC didn't pan out, and that was nearly a disaster as well. Yep, Sicily under 100, but that's all right. Dawson, he said it was nearly concerned that he was going to be out, sick, and then got a tag, and then came in the last half, scored about 80 points in the last half, probably about 60 points in the last half. So we're pretty happy with what he's pulled there. Dacos back down to earth at 79, but that's all right when he's out scoring short, and we had Ware. So Stewart will be back this week. You think he'll be absolutely chomping to get in. So we're happy with that. We've got Hewitt in now. If Hewitt is... I've got a couple of choices here. If Hewitt is out again, I think you just have to trade. But I don't, if I'm honest. I'll just keep playing these guys. Continue to loop Dacos short, etc. But what I will do is I probably will start Hewitt over Short. And these are the most reliable players based on matchup. So if Richmond play Brisbane, I don't think Short will score very well there, whereas I think Dacos against Port will be nice. I think, this kid looks very good. And where Handy had to field him because Hewitt was out, got the 65. Thanks very much. Midfield, not much to talk about there. What happens when all your best players play against each other? Only one guy scores 160 and the rest don't even turn up. So that's basically what happens. I obviously don't have English anymore and he had a big game. I don't have Gorn and he had a big game. But yeah, there's just only so many points on offer. If you had those guys, then that's basically what you saw. I'm happy with all this from most of the guys. McRae somehow was barely managed a mention for half the game. Dunkley was on 5 points at about quarter time. I actually thought he was injured. It was about 5 points going into halftime, so I started to get genuinely concerned that he was injured. They almost didn't deserve to win that game, the Bulldogs, just because they're just not playing anyone. You've got to put your best players in the middle, and they had Libba in the middle for most of the start, but you had to throw McRae in at some point. You have to put Dunkley in at some point. And it's just that balance that the Dogs are going to have to deal with Bailey Smith being back. And I just don't think Bailey Smith in the middle is better than McRae or Dunkley or Libba in the middle. So they'll work that out. They won. Oliver was quiet in the second half, very quiet in the second half. Had a huge first half, but they obviously started latching down on him one of the few times a tag has actually worked on him. Laird, amazing. What a player. Could end up close to M1, I reckon, despite missing so many games. Jeez, he's good. You have to have him. And I was concerned. I was going to run the Laird VC into the captain of one of these guys, but I was concerned that Laird wasn't going to put up a big score, and I didn't want to run a C on say McRae or any of these guys just because they were all playing. So ended up going V into Steele. Had I gone V into Steele, same story. I gained an extra 3 points, big deal. So, and Bont, I don't know why I'm not choosing Bont as a captain, and I probably won't do it this week. I don't know why, because his scoring recently has been absolutely immense as well. Back-to-back 150s. Hasn't scored under 100 since West Coast, which is unusual against West Coast. I guess what else should we mention? Tuke Miller was great. The other one was Saligo scoring 80. If not for Hewitt being out, I probably would have taken that score over Paddy Cripps. But with Hewitt out, I expected Cripps to get a bigger score. Pretty interesting stuff there that Hewitt being out gives Cripps a bigger score. So I guess it just shows that maybe Cripps is just taking it easy. Is that the case? That said, he usually rips up against the Crows. So we'll see. Well, he had one bad one, but last year he ripped up against the Crows. So, and that's when he was no good. So we'll see. We'll see how he goes this week. I'm not concerned. I don't have any other option. I'm not going to loop Saligo with any of these guys, honestly. You just can't do it. And I actually physically can't do it because Saligo plays after these blokes. So, can't be done. And that's okay. The rucks. We're just not seeing the points from the rucks. If you have Gorn, that's nice. I was hoping he would come down a little bit. The issue now with Cameron is I've got to stick with him. So I'm just hoping he gives us 70s and 80s for the rest of the year. Hasn't scored over 100 since round 15. Really worrying stuff. He'll continue to play, but hopefully he can manage these type of scores for the rest of the year. He's been so good. I just couldn't afford to do the trade. 3 trades, I think, with COVID, with injuries the way they are, with guys getting hurt, I just don't think you have I don't think I have the luxury of trading Cameron, especially to Goldie, who didn't actually score that well anyway. The only one I probably would have done was Gorn, and Gorn was off a 60. So, is that good? I don't know. And then, the forward line is the forward line. Happy with this. Bont's going off. All these forwards are so great. Dunkley's a real concern. Actually, more of a concern than Jaden Short at the moment, which is really worrying. I have no other choice. I've got Rioli scoring 20 on the bench. I don't have any other option here. Who would it be? I probably prefer Heaney there. And that's probably it. But as far as the team looks, there's probably not many changes I'd like. I'd probably like Gorn here instead of Cameron. But outside of that, I'm quite happy with what the team looks like. I don't think I'm missing any I don't think I'm missing any defender that I want. Maybe Doherty, but Dacos scores just as good as Doherty at the moment. In the mids, probably nothing. Gorn here, and maybe Heaney. Let's have a look and have a think. And we'll do a couple of things here. So let's have a look at forward lines. And we'll see how these guys are looking. So who would I prefer? I've got the top 6 forwards in the comp. Dunkley not in form. Himmelberg probably the one I would want. Obviously not gettable for me in any line. If Hewitt's out, I'd probably try to get Himmelberg there. Maybe. But realistically, no. Dylan Moore, don't trust that. Connor Rosie, don't like that. Honestly, I'm quite happy with the guys I've got. I've got the top 6 forwards, and I've had them for quite some time. So it's not like I've, by 50 points, Cornelio to Heaney. So I benefited from Dunkley early. Yes, he's not playing well now, but I did benefit from Dunkley early, so I can't complain about that. In the mids, what would we like? Mills. like I said, I'm not going to touch Mills. I'm not going to go near Mills ever again. He's a no-go zone for me. Um, and that's why 80s, 90s, you can't have that from your absolute premium when there are blokes who are regularly putting out 100. And yes, his ceiling is much higher. He scores 200s, he scores 150s, he scores 160s, those 140s. His ceiling is much better, but you can't have the downs. And sure, if you had him all year, you've got 2,100 compared to if you had, say, Bond all year, you've got 2,000 compared to if you had Brayshaw all year, you've got 2,000. So yes, you've got an extra 100 points, which is actually a significant increase. But nobody had Mills all year. You didn't have Mills all year. You're lying if you said you did. So, and now, I mean, you're in such a small sample size, So for us, we're happy with the mids that we've got. Considering it's showing some guys who are mid forward as well. We had Neil all year. We had Oliver all year. Did we? Yes, I think so. Maybe not. I can't remember. Took Miller, had him all year. So we've got the best 4 mids. We got Sinclair quite late. Got Laird early, which I'm really happy about. Got Bont during the buys, which was really good as well. Petrarca in the top 10 mids is interesting. Probably wouldn't go him again if I had the chance, but glad that he's rewarded us with some sort of love. There's absolutely nothing between these blokes, honestly, so that's all right. Who would I probably like? Yeah, Merritt. Missed that. What a miss that was too. But I got Steele, and it allowed me to get Libba, but I could have got Merritt too. So I got Steele on Merritt. They're going at about the same pace, so I'm not hugely fussed between the two blokes. But it just goes to show that, yeah, if I could have done Cripps for Merritt at some point, I probably should have, but I couldn't. So yeah, that's what I prefer, Cripps to Merritt, but whatever. And then we'll have a look at defenders too. We've got total points here. So yeah, Doherty, we've got our man Dacos, so we're pretty happy with that. But Doherty, yeah, probably would have liked to have him. Bailey Dale sort of come out of nowhere. And he could be a handy down if he was handy for us last year, and he could be a handy downgrade if Hewitt is out. We like these type of scores from a defender for sure. And if Hewitt is out again, I think we just do that. And that gets some money off of Hewitt, I reckon. Because Hewitt is 530. Nope, we probably can't even do Bailey Dale anymore because Hewitt's gone down to 530. So I was hoping that might get us some money off, but how annoying. Okay. No big deal. Yeah, Hewitt's last 2 weeks, sadly, when he was injured, did nothing. And that's why I didn't do Hewitt for Houston, because Houston's a joke of a player. So same story with Cripps. We got rid of him early, and we're pretty happy with that. Lost 110k. So we actually saved money on that trading Cripps. So really happy with that. Brayshaw's not one I'd go for. Who would we prefer? Boston. Yeah, look. I remember asking if he was real when he came back. He kind of isn't, but he's in some decent form coming out of the bye. So you can't be too happy with that. I think the only one, again, is Himmelberg. Prefer to play this guy up forward, but with our defense options, I reckon you could squeeze him in the back line too. At 566, again, can't do Hewitt for Himmelberg. Well, that sucks. So that is what it is. So really, I'm sort of stuck money-wise as far as being able to do any moves. And Rucks, yeah, obviously we should have started Gorn. We should have started Gorn in round 1. That is what it is. Blitzarv somehow, 3rd Ruck. Goldstein, not there, 58. So I'm glad we didn't do Cameron into Blitzarves or Goldstein. Doesn't matter. Cameron's still a top 10 Ruck. We do have the option next week to have a look, see how Marshall goes again. That's they'll pass each other, you'd assume. That's about all we see from these rucks. Don't trust Draper. Don't trust any of these rucks here. Yeah, so we're probably not doing anything with these guys. We're just holding Cameron, and it is what it is. He performed quite well for us, so we'll take that. Tim English should be in here somewhere as well, yeah, but he's got a quite low score. I can't afford him either. So that's the team. That's how we're looking. Really not many moves to make. I would love to be able to trade short out and get this money somehow into, turning one of these guys, even getting rid of Dunkley for Himmelberg. I'd love to be able to do that. I just don't want to go down to one trade with what, 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to go. I just don't think that's smart. We saw this week with Hewitt out. If we don't have Ware, if that's a midfielder, or if that's a forward rather, I have to trade. So I'm really holding my trades because I don't have any forward or ruck cover. So anytime one of these guys are out, I have to make the trade. Whereas I can cover through Short now, through Ware, and through Soligo. So we have to be really steadfast with that attitude and make sure that we're only trading rucks and forwards. So again, we're going to hold. If any of these guys are out, it's almost an instant trade. What I will say though is, if let's like a lot of these guys are DPP, so, and I really like them. So say we get someone like a Bont who gets COVID or something, or Libba gets COVID. For that sort of price, I think we actually pull the trigger on someone else and send Bont up to be covered by Soligo that week, and we get rid of, say, probably Petrarca and or Cripps. We cash out and we get a forward at that sort of price who can get in, perhaps even a DPP, but whatever. We get someone. Say it's. I know it seems silly to trade Cripps that after he scored 118, but in a hypothetical where one of these forwards are out, unless it's Dunkley, then we're trading, or even, unless it's Dunkley, then we're trading one of them, and we're probably trying to hold one of these guys to try to hold these forwards because we like them. And we like them more than these two because these averages are inflated from earlier in the year. Well, maybe not Petrarca's, but yeah, Petrarca's got a big boost because of these. Not reliable scorers. So anyway, waffled on a bit there. What are we doing captain wise? I think you kind of have to go. I would like to see Miller into West Coast. What did he do against them last year? Reasonable history earlier this year scored 137 against them, and that was at West Coast. Historically not great against them. So I would like to see Miller into West Coast as our hold. The rest is a bit of a concern. I don't really want to use Bont into Geelong. Does he have history against Geelong? Yeah, kind of. Laird against Carlton. They sort of run with guys a fair bit as well. Yeah, he scored 120 away, so Laird's in decent form as well on a Saturday night. So maybe we sort of VC Laird on the Saturday night. Nah, because I just realised these are both. Oh no, that's the next day. So I think if we VC Laird into Miller, I think we're pretty happy with that. These are our two most reliable scorers. We could even VC with some really tight scheduling. We could VC Neil into Miller, starting 2 hours later, and just or the other way around. Sorry, VC Miller into Neil, and if Miller's on say 120 at 3/4 time, then we're probably safe to take the C off. But then, who do we have that plays through here that's out? No one. So we can't go that far down. Rosas is the one for us that we'd be looping. So, yeah, tricky call. I think we're probably going to do it with Laird into Miller. And that allows us to use someone easy like a Rosas to loop through. For all we know, Hewitt's out as well. We get a Yeah, Owen Stevens. So yeah, we can only do it through Rosas. If I can just hover here. Yeah, fitness test. He's not going to get picked though, is he? We just got to keep an eye on whether he's the sub or not. Otherwise, our captain options, we have to do something up here, which just means we do Oliver. Melbourne. Do Oliver into Laird because we kind of like Laird. So anyway, that's that one. Yeah, thanks again, guys. Thanks for the support. Have a good one.